Hey, J-Bro's popping in here. Yeah, the CRT's a little bit mad at me today. Had that auction rolling today. They had the trencher on there, and I thought everything was going to be looking kind of cool and looking kind of good and whatnot. And the trencher ended up going for $1,400, which isn't a terrible price because if you look on the web and stuff, they're around that $2,000 mark. And I was kind of hoping to score it, let's say, for 800 to 1,000. With that being said, now that's the fifth mini skid trencher that I've seen from that auction go at that $1,400 price. Also, I was going to get the tiller, of course. Well, the tiller ended up going for $1,000, which also is a reasonable deal. But I really don't need a tiller at this point. So I'm like, well, I'll just wait and see if I can get one later. And then the dozer blade for the Mini, that went for $800. And I was kind of hoping to get that for like $450, $600. And maybe my prices, are not really, let's say, realistic. And then the sweeper blade, or excuse me, the sweeper, that I'm going for about $920, and I was kind of hoping to get that for around that $600 because once again I don't really need it. So I missed out on that, and then they also had and the reason why actually I just didn't go higher on the mini trencher. I was sitting there thinking, okay, that went for $1,400, let's say. Earlier in that auction, I was bidding on a 15 horsepower Mini X that I kind of showed you guys that I was going to bid on in that auction. And that was that white one that was kind of red. That ended up going for $2,150. And I had made up in my mind that I was going to just go for that before I came up to these attachments. And I was in it. And I would have probably stayed to it to about $1,900, which I did. But once it crossed the threshold of 2,000, I'm like, well, maybe I can score these other attachments because they were later. Because I was kind of on a budget of what I was gonna spend for how much in that total auction. So long story short, I didn't get anything. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make, it's like, okay, I know that attachment for that trencher would be sweet. But if a guy's able to get a mini excavator for $2,100, it's like for $700 more to get a whole another piece of equipment in a Mini X versus paying $1,400 for a trencher. God, wouldn't a guy almost want to go the mini excavator route? So that's kind of what I was throwing around in my mind after that whole auction went through. And like I said, I got nothing. There was this carport that I was bidding on, and I got lost track of my time, and actually the auction closed on that, let's say an hour sooner than I was expecting. It was a 20 by 20 with side steel carport, and I was gonna almost turn that into some cold storage shop, cap each end, whatever. Those only went up for like $650, $725. But with that being said, I got totally skunked, and I felt so disappointed that I wasn't able to get the tiller or the trencher so I could run it on the mini skid and show it working. I was all pumped, and yeah, I kind of let you down. With that being said, I was able to finish up the plywood in here after the auction closed. So I cleaned this up and whatnot. Now I'm fully ready for steel up in here. But yeah, I guess that's all I've got for you. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick update on how that auction went. And like I said, I got skunked, but yeah. And then I guess I'll throw in as well, there was those track mini skids that were the 15 horse. Those all went in that $2,200 to $2,600 range. And then there was one of the 25 horsepower machines That went for $3,500, and that was kind of like a LRT, but it wasn't. It was like a SKDL machine, but you know, rig looked pretty solid, pretty good. So that's just kind of what I know on update of that auction. And then also the bulk of all those mini excavators that I showed you in that operation, they went basically in that $2,500 to $3,200 range. The ones that were kind of closed cab, obviously those went for a little bit more. I mean, in that price range, those were the ones that were kind of that 32 range. But when you think about it, for a whole rig mini excavator, $2,500 to $3,200 still seems really, really good. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. If you have any questions on any other prices or stuff like that on the auction, whatnot, yeah, feel free to comment down below. I should be in action tomorrow, moving some snow. We're finally getting a little warmth here, and I'll need to clear my driveway. So yeah, J Bros out.